世界がつながる
AP, Thunderhub in Amboss, Colombia.
Munich is the third largest city in Germany after Berlin and Hamburg. Are you aware the name of the city is deriving from the Old German term Munichen, meaning by the monks?
No.
The Lego Group started producing plastic building blocks in 1947, blocks with round studs at the top and hollow at the bottom, as we know them today. Do you know that Lego originally started making wooden toys during the company's first 15 years?
No.
React is a JavaScript library for building user interfaces. React was developed by Meta in 2011 from the need to make the code of large web applications more manageable. Did you know it was initially an internal project and used for the Facebook and Instagram platform?
Yes.
Aquascaping is the craft of arranging aquatic plants as well as rocks, stones, cavework or driftwood in an aesthetically pleasing manner within an aquarium. In effect, gardening underwater. Is this the perfect way to relax after hours of coding?
Yes.
Verser un pot de vin means nowadays in France paying a bribe. Did you know it originally had a different meaning? Donner un pourboire, giving a tip.
Yes.
Rollercoaster Tycoon is a series of simulation video games about building and managing an amusement park created by Scottish programmer Chris Sawyer in 1999. Licensing for the series is currently held by Atari SA, to which the license is currently planned to expire on June 30, 2022. Would you like to apply for a license?
No.
Ready Player One is a 2011 science fiction novel by American author Ernest Cline. The story, set in a dystopia in 2045, follows protagonist Wade Watts on his search for an Easter egg in a worldwide virtual reality game, the discovery of the world of which would lead him to inherit the game creator's fortune. Did you also enjoy reading the sequel, Ready Player 2?
Yes.
Australia and Antarctica are the two only continents where I never lived.
Yes.
Do you prefer wakeboarding over kitesurfing?
No.
Are you Satoshi Nakamoto?
No.
Welcome to the Connected World Weekly Podcast. I'm Edward.
And I'm Stef. We are ready to take you with us into the beautiful world of the Lightning Network.
Enjoy the ride. This is episode 34 of Connect the World. Stef, how are you? It's very hot, right?
Man. Yeah.
Oh man,
it's extremely hot, man. And
yeah, and I heard your Apple laptop doesn't like the heat.
No.
Like
I'm,
us.
I'm actively cooling it now myself with my.
With your fan.
No, but really, I also see my video is a bit shuddering. Is it fine at your side or?
At my side it's fine. Well,
crazy,
I think
man.
it's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, but my laptop, well, I don't know if I can see the temperature. Well, the memory is fine, but
So it's interesting. All those Raspberry Pis, right, in the whole world.
Yeah.
How hot they
Well,
are.
my Raspberry Pi is in my living room. Well, in
there it's colder.
Well, in a closet in my living room, and it's yeah, I have air conditioning there, but
That's nice.
not over here, unfortunately. So I'm in my swimming shorts, using my old school ventilator to cool my MacBook Pro. So, but how are you doing, Edward?
Well, I'm fine. I had a busy weekend with my birthday and the birthday of my child.
Congratulations again.
Thanks.
Do you want to say how old
No, that was really
you became?
How old did I became? 40. So that's
40?
a milestone.
Really?
Yeah, really.
Oh, but can you play the chair for me, please?
That's sweet of you. Yeah,
Yeah,
of course. Cheering.
Congratulations, Eddie.
Thanks, man.
But
Really.
You look young, man. But I don't know if I can zoom in on you because I spotted some gray hair,
face.
right?
No, I really have gray hair. No,
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah. Now it goes faster, right? No,
Yeah.
I'm always a person that doesn't count the years, but I don't know. It's some kind of special, right?
Yeah.
I remember 30 was special, so this one is also special.
Yeah, I celebrated my 30th birthday, and then the birthdays after it was like just me, my wife, and some family members. Nothing special.
Just what happened with me also. I used to invite everybody, and the whole house was packed. And now it's smaller, and Well, but 40 is of course something that we want to celebrate. So perhaps we're
sure.
Gonna do it big.
Yeah, man. And who do we have this week, Edward?
Amazing guy, Antony Potdevin. And I hope there rings a bell because he's the co-founder of Amboss.space, which most node runners use as a great website for a lot of purposes. And he's also the main software engineer of Thunderhub, open source project. Also used by a lot of node operators. So great to have him.
Yeah, nice guest, and very curious about the talk with him. But first, Edward, we need to talk about the statistics of the Lightning Network and our Rings of Fire community. And a little scoop, we balanced the ring this week again, so vacation is over. But nice. let's do that first, Edward, and then the second part will be with Anthony.
Great.
Connecter le monde.
So last week we had a little over 37.45 Bitcoin pushed into the Lightning Network, and this week it's 37.8. So we added 35 million Satoshis. Not bad, especially because we are in the middle of the summer. So I think most of us are at the beach most of the time. So I think
smart.
it's a nice number in the middle of our holiday season. So with around 1,302 members participating in over 170 rings.
And we're now at block height 745,484. The network as a whole, the Lightning Network, added 16 nodes more, so 17,000 round figure. Well, it could have been more or less. And 4,275 Bitcoin in the network, 107 more than last week. I don't know. It's an increasing number, fluctuates, but it's nice. Yeah. And the value of 1 million Satoshis, what's getting me
1 million Satoshis is getting you $223, 290 euros, and 1,502 Chinese yuan for your birthday, Edward.
That's great.
Connect o mundo.
And then the Daily Moon news. Some highlighted news updates from last week brought to you by the Daily Moon. Let's start with Machankura. Don't know if you know it. A couple of weeks ago, Machankura launched a service that makes it possible to use your phone number to send and receive sats through the Lightning Network to other Machankura users or their Machankura Lightning address. And it works with SMS. So you just send a message and then, that's funny.
Nice, yeah.
Yeah. And then Tunnel Sets, I don't know if you know it, because one of the founders is Hakuna, which we had on an earlier show. And Tunnel Sets is a VPN service for Lightning node runners, and you can pay for it with Lightning. And last week they released a beta version of their solution on enabling hybrid mode for your Lightning node. So with ClearNet and Tor connectivity, and without the hassle of exposing your home IP address. So that's great. And they tested it, the whole workflow, with Umbrel, MyNode, and Raspberry Blitz, even on the bare metal Raspberry Bolt. So check it out if you're interested. I've added 2 links to the show notes. And Bolt.observer, I mentioned them earlier, I think, and they make it possible to monitor and manage Lightning nodes within their platform. So if you have multiple nodes, you can check it all. And the founder, let's pronounce the name right, Aljaz Seru, wrote an article about the release of their Lightning Network Explorer. And it enables you to drill down into Lightning Network's graph data, explore close and far nodes, and find the next node where you want to open your next channel to.
Interesting.
And they're all about data, so it's really is interesting to check it out.
Cool.
And Stacker.news, that's amazing news. They raised $1.25 million, staggering, from Max Webster, Ross Stevens, Caffeinated Capital, and Steve Lee. A lot of more names. Check the whole message for all the names. And they have some very nice goals. To hire one non-technical A-player generalist, maintain 2 years of runway. It's very important for them, of course, to exist and to make further. How do you say that? To bring Stacker.news further. And I've added a presentation from the founder to the show notes. It's a Google Doc document. It's interesting to read if you like it.
Yeah, do you want to read more and stay up to date about everything related to Lightning, the news and updates? Then head over to tdm.news and follow the Daily Moon on Twitter, on Telegram, and all the links, as Edward already said, are in the show notes, guys.
And then last week I spoke to Mick Morucci from Geyser. It's a Lightning native Bitcoin crowdfunding platform with a mission to help Bitcoin creators and creatives to transform their ideas to reality. And I recorded a quick talk with him. And there Mick explains the various crowdfunding options on the Geyser platform. And he also shares more about their new project, Geyser Grants. So let's listen to a short part of the conversation I had with him. And what is the biggest positive upside for the Lightning Network to be available on your platform? Is it only the availability worldwide? So to have all those people from all those countries to be able to donate?
So it's many things, actually. One thing is for sure the global nature of it is so important. As I said before, the traditional legacy financial system is very fractured. It's just look at what's happening today between the United States and Russia, with the entire SEPA network not being available to many Russian companies. I mean, that really shows you how arbitrary the financial system is and how it's not structured bottom up. And so Lightning is as we say, borderless. It doesn't know borders, and that's a massive feature. Secondly, there's so much being built on Lightning that it's this kind of growing ecosystem, right? From Lightning addresses to KeySend to all sorts of things that are happening that essentially building on Lightning means that it's like gaining network momentum, and more people building on it, more people developing on it, the better it is for the entire network. And so we also saw a lot about the podcasting 2.0, the ability to essentially boost while listening to podcasts. And Geyser is now integrated into that. So if you're listening to a Geyser podcast, we have our own Geyser podcast where we feature creators. And if you fund people from, if you boost the podcast, the Satoshis go directly to the project.
That's
and
very
you can also visualize that. So that's kind of the kind of things you can do with Lightning.
So if you want to know more about Geyser, then watch or listen to this quick talk. It's very interesting. And all the links, of course, are in the show notes.
Соединим этот мир.
Okay, and let's have a look at our rings forecast. As I already mentioned, we balanced a ring this week. So after 2 weeks of a bit of silence, we managed to balance one, and we finished one. So starting with the 500k 38 ring, we finished that one. So that one is not balanced, but it's finished. It took some time to present a fresh, finished ring to you, but it doesn't mean we weren't busy. Jorian couldn't wait to get the work done, to get his magic on this one. He prepared everything extremely well and got everyone into party mode, but unfortunately, in the small time frame that we lowered the fees, some node operators experienced routing, and therefore Jorian wasn't able to balance anymore. But as I already also mentioned within this group, I think it's nice to have such attraction to traffic in these rings. So I think it isn't a bad thing that we experience routing every now and then within these rings. Unfortunately, we can't balance them if there's not enough local balance, of course. But again, I don't think it's a bad thing, right, Edward?
Right, yeah, and there are so many options nowadays to balance your channel. So
but we managed to balance one. It was the 1 million Satoshi's 45th ring. 7 countries involved. Isn't that amazing? So it took some great courage to lead this one. But Stefan Barker, we had a great ringleader, and we must thank ENIAC Lightning for the help as well. So it was a great team effort. And within these rings, we have node operators from South Africa, Germany, New Zealand, Norway, Canada, USA, Holland, Germany, and Austria. So amazing distribution.
Amazing. Yeah. And Stephen Barker, from which country is he?
Ooh, that's a great question. I think he was from
Canada, maybe.
Yeah, I can check for you. I don't know if I can find it that quickly.
South Africa,
Here
the
it
redaction.
is. Yeah, I think he's from South Africa, indeed. Let me check. If I can find it. Next time, prepare this question for me, Edward.
I see here we have some help, and I see South Africa. So
South Africa, great. Yeah, because there is a node operator from South Africa, so it must be Stephen. Yeah, it's from South Africa. I can confirm. Yeah.
Well, great that he did it so well. Yeah, great. Thanks again, Stef. That's that, and let's go to the lightning notes then.
Thanks.
All right.
Collect the build.
Make sure to secure your home network. So change default passwords and use 2-factor authentication where possible. And keep your software up to date. It's also very important. Please keep in mind that the whole Lightning network is very experimental. Software like MyNode, Umbrel, Raspberry Blitz, for example, and many others, and LND also, are still in beta phase. Don't blindly run terminal commands on your node if you don't understand them yourself, and especially when prefixed with sudo. And the last one is also very important. Don't use Satoshis that you're not willing to lose. So if you're not aware of all security considerations, then read into it. Educate yourself, read articles, ask for help in Telegram groups with high reputation like ours, and listen to podcasts and learn by doing. Otherwise, don't participate.
Also, you can stay informed by following us on Twitter. You can find us at Satoshi Radio ROF. And follow our Lightning leader, Jonī Kyasshu. Join our Telegram groups, Satoshi Radio, Ring of Fire, and Connect the World. And check our website, satoshi.radio. It would be nice for you to be part of our Amboss community. You can find us there on Satoshi Radio. And like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Use Podcasting 2.0 to listen to Connect the World. And you can check SAT trading for the current value. You can find all this information, of course, also in the show notes as well.
All right, let's get on to the show.
Connetti il mondo.
Welcome, AP. We're excited to have you here with us. How are you?
Welcome, Antony.
Hey guys, thank you so much for having me.
The pleasure is all ours. and I would like to start with the question Edward was asking you about wakeboarding and kite surfing, because I heard you are a fanatic kite surfer, but I also saw a video of you on Twitter when you were wakeboarding at the cable park, and it wasn't going very well, right?
Yeah. So I love sports that are in the water, and normally like board sports like kite surfing or wakeboarding or windsurfing. I really enjoy doing. That day, I don't know what happened. Movement slipped, and I hit the water very hard. I had forgotten that video was still on Twitter, but that was a very hard hit.
Yeah, I saw it, and I was like, because I'm a very fanatic skiing guy, and I like to ski in the snow, but also water skiing. And I was, but I prefer to do it behind a boat, right? And one time, friends of mine were asking me, well, you can also go to a cable park and then ski behind a cable. And I tried, and I had so much pain in my muscles the next day. It was crazy. It's total different than behind the boat, right? And it's also because you get pulled out of the water pretty hard, and it's totally different.
with the boat, it's sort of smoother transition from like being in the water to being on the board, because the boat starts pulling you softly until you're out of the water. On these like parks that you're being pulled by a pole that is attached to like a circuit. It's a very instant pull. Like you're sitting ready to get pulled, and it's very quick. And also, tricky part is like in the corners. When you're like,
the corners are so difficult, man.
Yeah, they always have like these little cones on the corners, and if you don't pass in between them, you sort of stop, and then it pulls you so hard that you just fall into the water.
Yeah. And that was what I didn't know before. Yeah. So I was just following the course, and then I was like, oh my God. And I saw the rope, and I thought, well, this is going to be a very hard one. And then bam, the rope was hitting me, and it was, oh man, because if you're behind a boat, you can anticipate, right? Yeah. You can just steer yourself, and you see the boat, and it's pretty clear what route you're going to take. So it's
of a like pull when you're doing a turn, because you sort of turn with
exactly,
the boat,
exactly.
And this one is like
you can play with it. You can play with it yourself. You can drag yourself a bit, and then you can just loosen yourself a bit. So crazy, but I had a laugh when I saw the video. It was it was entertaining.
And it's an oldie. Then I need to search it too.
That was a while back.
There was another question that was interesting. Well, I asked you Australia and Antarctica, of course, but you were laughing, and I thought, well, you lived everywhere then. That must be
remember more
right.
of it, but I was very young, so I remember like the very last part of all the movement.
And what languages do you speak then? Because obviously you can speak English, as we can tell, but also Spanish, because you're from Colombia. But what other languages can you speak?
So those are the two main ones. Currently learning or trying to learn German, and I did a lot of French in school, but I haven't practiced it in quite a while, so not sure how up to date I am in that language.
Potdevin, that's your sure name.
I didn't knew that it, and then giving a tip. It's funny because it has to do with money, right? So that's interesting.
We invited you to talk about mainly Amboss and Thunderhub, of course. Because you're the guy behind the UX, right? It looks amazing to me. It's very appealing. So we are glad to have you on the show, and we want to ask you all kinds of questions about those two projects, but also about the vision, your vision about the Lightning Network. We have to do it in the 21 minute, guys. So AP, if you're ready, and Edward also, my man, if you guys are ready, we would really love to enter that part, guys. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's do it.
Right. Let's do it.
Verbinden die Welt.
Let's start with this really simple one. We asked this a lot, but I think it will give a nice story. What was your first experience with the Lightning Network, and do you still remember what you did or what you wanted to do then?
So I don't really remember what was the first reference of the Lightning Network that I saw. It must have been some tweet, I guess, of somebody talking about a Lightning Network and giving some info on it. What I do remember was like the next part of it, in which I sort of started diving deeper into it, reading how you can do like very small amount payments across the internet. started looking more into it, and I found a website that was, or I think it still is called Lightning Network Stores, which is like a catalog of all the different Lightning enabled websites or apps that existed. And one of the top ones, I remember it was Lightning Spin, which I think to this day is still available. And it's just like a small spin roulette that you pay some sats, and you can like double your sats or triple your sats or something. So like a betting website,
or lose them all,
or
right?
lose everything and in zero. Correct. Like any other betting platform. And I found it very interesting that this was even possible. This was while I was still living in Colombia. And I remember doing any type of payment on the internet was so complicated back then. Like, I think most of the world knows like PayPal and has like access to banks that you can quickly pay on websites and everything. And Colombia, it was a bit more complicated. So we didn't have different apps that now exist. And going a lightning roulette, like going to this website and being able to like spin the wheel for 1,000 sats, like for some cents, that was crazy to me. So that was like the small spark that started my Lightning journey. And then from there, wanted to learn a little bit about Lightning, and I did sort of a similar concept that was like a Lightning board that has like all the numbers that you can say like black or red.
With the number.
And bet as well there. Very simple concept that was just to like test what it is to pay and withdraw some sats from an online application. And played around with that a little bit, and that was like very, very start. Not available anymore. I don't want any legal issues about having this. So it was just an experiment. And that was the very start.
And you still play the roulette, or?
I haven't gone into it again. Not a lot of time to spin the wheel. I do pay the chickens. The chickens.
Oh yeah, you can feed the chicken. Yeah.
The chicken, for your
I think it's a better use of the sats.
That's for sure. That's for sure. Hey, but it's funny that you say that you weren't able to pay electronically in Colombia, but now it looks like that Spanish speaking countries is a front runner in Lightning adoption. What's the share of El Salvador in this all? And was this the kickstart for adoption in Central and South America from your perspective as a Colombian?
So first, I think El Salvador is definitely that initial domino that is falling, and other Latin American countries, and I think not even Latin American countries in specific, but third world countries are going to start seeing what it's facilitating and how it's not only attracting tourism to the country, but allowing people to go and pay for services very quickly without having to the hassle of doing like currency exchanges. So I think El Salvador played a huge part in this, sort of like bringing it out to the world. And since Latin American countries there's a lot of people that don't have a bank account, that they do everything day to day with cash, and like cash is king for them, right? Having this new technology that allows them to store their money in the best way that has ever existed, and also be able to transact with it very quickly, is gonna be huge for them.
Yeah. And that's why it needs to be so easy to use, of course. But we'll get into that later. In El Zonte, in El Salvador, they use the Bitcoin Beach wallet, which is very easy, built by Galloy Money. And this wallet has a super easy design, just like I said, and specifically built for communities due to the map function and usernames to send or receive Satoshis. Would you also build a wallet someday, or is it your ambition to stay developing tools to only use with Lightning nodes?
I would say a wallet is also a tool for Lightning nodes, right?
That's right. Yeah.
It's really about seeing where there are pain points right now in the Lightning ecosystem, I do like, or at least what I've been building since I started was tools that were specific for node operators. So people like having direct access to the node that they're using. Because I see it is a very valuable part of being able to grow out a decentralized network is to have as many people participating as possible, as many nodes, as many channels, as many, as much people as possible on this network. So for me right now, there is a huge need in facilitating operating your node. And normally that's what I tend to focus on this huge need that I see in the market.
Cool. And do you also see yourself building some other tools to the Lightning space?
So Lightning evolves very quickly, extremely quickly. It's like speed of light. It's changing, it's evolving. New features are coming out, new applications, new tools, new ways to interact with other users on the network. And you just have to keep up. It's really a persistency thing, like keeping up with the amount of things that are coming out. So to do this, of course, new tools need to be developed. New tools have to be created to facilitate all these new features that are coming in very quickly into the Lightning space.
Indeed, yeah. And your work as a developer stands out in its graphical design. The dashboards give you immediate insights. Do you think adoption of Lightning will also depend on the user-friendliness of the tools in everyday use?
I remember talking about this as well in the El Salvador conference last year. And my answer back then is the same answer that I have now. And it was that it's 100% dependent. Like you have to have a good user experience for you to be able to capture as much users as possible, which will then give you feedback that you can iterate on top and continue making the product even better. And if from the start you have a poor user experience, it's very difficult to start getting all of these users that are going to let you start iterating very, very quickly on the product that you have out in the public.
So on the perspective of a developer, you must, the user interface must be this super friendly and super easy, because otherwise you're trying to get those people back and it's just not possible. More difficult then.
Yeah, exactly.
And you nailed it. You're nailing it if you talk about UX, in my opinion, because Thunderhub and Amboss both are very good looking. So I think you're doing a great job on that. And what is the most important feature that you miss now on the Lightning Network?
So having all these UIs is very nice. I think it's a very good step. A very good initial step for the Lightning Network to be able to see how easy it actually is to manage your node and open channels and like sort of interact with the rest of the network. But I feel like we naturally have to progress towards having more automation, towards letting users not have to be 24/7 looking at that beautiful Thunderhub dashboard, but actually being out in real life, enjoying and not having to focus on rebalancing channels, opening to peers, reconnecting to nodes that suddenly went offline. So I think there has been steps built towards having automation. There are a lot of tools that I think are a first step towards allowing this, but there is a lot that can be built here, a lot that can enable users to really like set and forget.
Cool.
Yeah. And where do you think the Lightning Network will be in 4 years from now?
So being that the Lightning Network is a transactional layer on top of Bitcoin, I see it being adopted more heavily in regions where this transactional part is missing, right? So we're talking Latin America, Asia, Africa. I think it will take time for it to arrive in Europe or in the US or more westernized world countries. So I think in 4 years, Lightning will be a lot more present in these third world countries.
And do you have a country in your mind for to be the next one where Bitcoin will be legal tender? Because we had a talk with El Professor a couple of episodes back, and he thought it would be Costa Rica, but we don't know, right?
I've been seeing a lot of like tweets and stuff online about the next country that is adopting Bitcoin as legal tender. I don't really know how serious a lot of these are, or if it's actually something that's happening, or if they're talking about like crypto adoption. So in my head, I would love for it to be Colombia. Like if Colombia were to adopt Bitcoin as legal tender, it would be great. And I think it would help a lot of people there that are currently unbanked and need to find support somehow, right? And like I was born there, and I would love it.
It's a very big company. And it's very big, of course. It has more than 50 million people. So that would be really interesting. Yeah.
Eventually, they will all follow, right? They will all adopt it.
All the dominoes fall.
And Thunderhub, all the dominoes fall, right? You can't stop it. And Thunderhub is an open source Lightning Network LND node manager. On your website, you have a great statement about the Bitcoin giving you a Swiss bank account in your pocket, and the Lightning Network gives you instant transactions. Thunderhub gives you a great UI to manage them both. Can you explain how you came up with the idea of Thunderhub?
So Thunderhub was right after I did this Lightning Roulette, influenced me starting the project. So, or actually 3 things influenced it. So first, I wanted to do something open source. So I had been using open source tools already for a while, playing around with them, and I decided like it's somehow a way for me to give back to the community. So that was one reason. Then second one was because I wanted to learn about the API or what is available from a Lightning node. I started off with LND, which is also currently mostly what I'm familiar with. And what better way to learn the whole API, everything that you can do, than by building a node management software that literally has to connect to every single endpoint to give you information or to allow you to take actions on your node, right? And then the third part was I was familiar with RTL. I had used it before, but it wasn't in the tech stack that I was familiar with. So that's when I decided like not going with RTL and like starting to support their project, but actually build a manager that was more in the tech stack that I was familiar with and that I was using even in my professional life.
Yeah, and we were talking about it a little bit earlier about how to evolve a product, because Thunderhub in its lifespan from the first version to now had it the same high level of UX or user interface than now, or because you also say that you release it as soon as possible so you can learn about it and then enhance it, of course. So how is it changed over time?
So I think I have a pretty defined styling in the things that I build. I think Thunderhub, from what it was in the very beginning, the styling was very similar. Had like same font, same colors, same margins and paddings, and like all this styling, pretty much the same. What has changed a lot is the user experience. So how users are actually interacting with the application because of all the feedback that I've been getting from people. And that has been evolving very quickly and very fast, specifically, mostly because to a more visible place. So in terms of UX, it has evolved a lot, and I try to keep it very constant, the evolution of it. And it can be as simple as like why is this button here? I didn't find it. And then it's like the iteration, like, okay, let's move that button. In terms of theming, pretty similar to the original Thunderhub.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. And in May this year, Amboss announced their Magma Liquidity Marketplace, a peer-to-peer channel marketplace for the Lightning Network. And now you've hit the magic number of 21 Bitcoin of total liquidity that has been organized through the Magma service. Edward, he wrote a thread about at the start with his experience with the service, and also with some extra info about the biggest challenges that inbound liquidity has with onboarding new people. But why did you start Magma, and what did you guys wanted to add as a liquidity market?
Mm-hmm. So it's not like it was the first liquidity marketplace. There have existed a lot of options to be able to get some inbound liquidity to your node. Like you can go to from Lightning Labs, and then there are liquidity ads that are actually LN big and buy some liquidity. You can start a swap in LN plus. Then there's of course the more I would say like bigger used ones that are pool, a more protocol level liquidity marketplace, right? And the idea to have Magma came from the fact that even though all of these options existed, we were still seeing people go to Twitter and say like, hey, like I have 10 million sats. Write to me if you want a channel, and this is the cost, right? And we started seeing it very frequently on Twitter, people tweeting out their availability of sats. And that's when we thought like, why don't we create a marketplace that enables everybody to be an LSP, right? It doesn't have to be now specifically focused towards the big players that have like all their infrastructure set up to start selling liquidity. But now like the pleb of like the smallest pleb can go onto Magma, post an offer, and sell their liquidity on the network. And I think we saw this gap, and that's when Magma came about.
And obviously it's working because 21 Bitcoin, well, that's a lot, man.
Yeah, it really fills the gap. Yeah.
I think it was very nicely taken by the community. Some people have made a decent amount of sats selling liquidity there. You can see the total amount that has been earned by sellers on Amboss.space. So I think like we kept with our way of building out very nice user experiences, and we just integrated this like liquidity marketplace into how we do it. And I think people really enjoyed it and liked the experience.
Yeah.
And in episode 19, we talked with your other co-founder of Amboss, Thomas Jestifer, about the possibilities of signing in with the use of Aaron URL authentication on a certain website with your own node as a way to prove your identity. And on Amboss and several other sites, it's already possible to sign in with a signature from a Lightning node. What are the biggest advantages, in your opinion, to use your Lightning Network identity as your online identity? Because you talked also about this a couple of weeks ago in a hackathon, Shock the Web of Bolt.fun. So I thought, hey, this is nice that you're thinking about it.
I think it's huge. I think it's going to be a massive part of your online interactions, being able to prove your identity either in an anonymous way, like it is with LNURL, or in a non-anonymous way, which is signing a message like you do on Amboss, right? So each of them, I think, has their pros and their cons. And the gist of it, especially focused towards the signing a message part, is that you're sort of taking your reputation, your Lightning reputation, together with you into this platform that you're signing in. So that platform can then take that reputation and allow you to do another set of features or interactions with the website based on this reputation that you sort of took to them when you sign in.
Yeah. And what are your plans with Thunderhub and also Amboss, obviously, for the future?
So the nice thing about Thunderhub is that it's very tightly connected to your node. So it has information that is not publicly available. So if we're able to merge that with some functionality from Amboss, for example, to help the user bootstrap their node, right? Thunderhub can see like, okay, this user has no channels, or they're missing incoming liquidity, or maybe they don't have enough outgoing liquidity to be able to do this payment or receive a payment. Then we can sort of like automate the process a little bit and say like, hey, like you're missing incoming liquidity. Let me get you set up with this offer on Magma, and you should be able to receive the payment pretty soon. So these are sort of like the public and the private world in the Lightning space that can be merged in to create a more seamless experience for the user.
Nice. And this is also what you already talked about, automating more. That is what you're missing right now, right? So you're going to build that yourself.
Completely. So to be able to automate, you need to have some actionable insights into what is going on in the Lightning space. So that is our goal. Like we want to provide these actionable insights for you to improve your user experience on the Lightning Network, just like you have improved it just by using Amboss.space.
Nice job.
That's a nice ending. Well, we had a lot of other questions, but we didn't have any more time for it. So if you come back another time, we can continue this great talk. Thanks again.
For sure.
Connetti il mondo.
Yes, AP, we still have one question left for you. It was a question we had from Kevin Kai, a Lightning Network infrastructure engineer working at Collider. And we asked Kevin to come up with a question for you. Edward will play the audio file now and you may answer it.
The question I would ask him is, do you think the Lightning Network will ever appear on other coin chains other than Bitcoin?
So technically speaking, it shouldn't be that hard to do it. I think even right now, Litecoin has a sort of like a Lightning Network running on top of it, Bitcoin, because you have like the 10-minute block delays, you have higher fees that can get. To me, the question would be more about the incentives of doing it. So right now, with Lightning being that instant, nearly instant, nearly feeless final settlement layer, it has a very high use case being built on top of it, pretty significant. So there is a big use case to using Lightning, right? If you go on to other chains in which like 99.9% of them are ghost chains, you aren't really going to come into this problem, especially since a lot of them advertise like we're the fastest blockchain that has ever existed. So the instant part doesn't really fit into there. And then since it's a ghost chain, nobody is using it anyways. The fees are going to be very low. So in terms of incentives, there isn't really a reason for it to exist on other chains.
I think I agree.
Luckily. Yeah. And next time, AP, we have a new guest, and his name is Aryan Jabari. He also speaks Spanish. And he's a technical co-founder of Scars.city. It's an online marketplace for Bitcoin goods, like Stef said, and Bitcoin NFTs. And we want to ask him a question from you. Which question can we ask him?
So first, I met him in El Salvador. Really nice guy. So hello. And a question for him. If we're talking just about Lightning Network custodial solutions, is it a good trade-off to sort of lose that sovereignty in pro of being able to bring more people onto Lightning?
Yeah,
nice.
That's a nice question. Yeah, because it always gets to that, right? If you think of the mainstream. So I'm curious about his opinion.
Yeah, and I think I love this part of the show. I'm loving it even more and more and more, Edward, because all those guests, they have very interesting questions for
each other.
For each other, yeah, man.
And it's nice. He will really hear it. And it's nice that you two both know each other.
Yeah.
We didn't know that, of course. So that's it's a small world.
It is.
Conecte o mundo.
And Stef, AP, we have a prize to give away this week, and it's from you, AP. So that's amazing. Thanks for all listeners and whoever's watching. What are we going to give away?
So we have a 3-month subscription to Amboss.space. This subscription gives you some additional features. I think one of the most interesting ones is that you get a discount on the fee that you're going to pay for buying liquidity on Magma, for example. Yeah. And also, if you sell liquidity on Magma, you also give a discount to everyone that's buying from your offer. So sort of an incentive for buyers to go specifically to your offer and take your liquidity. And then we have some other set of features, like you can add a logo to your node page, add a custom URL, so some insights into more historical metrics, whole range of features that you can get.
Cool.
That's nice. Yeah,
and I think around 80% of our listeners is a node runner, I guess, Edward. So
yeah, and I hear a lot of them also speaking of Magma. So if you want to try it out, I think it really collaborates to the whole Lightning space. So I've tried it myself and paid too much. No. I just I think it's great, and a lot of people were also thinking of it the wrong way, because it wasn't the whole liquidity of a channel, but only the fee to sell it or buy it. So really, try it out. And of course, try to win. And what do they need to do, Stef, to win this beautiful prize?
If you want to win this prize, this amazing prize, please head over to our Twitter and then like and retweet the announcement of this episode and this is very important because it was the account of Jonī Kyasshu, but we now changed to our official mainstream account, and that is at CTW underscore podcast. Yeah. So at CTW underscore podcast. And then like and retweet the announcement of this episode. And then you have a chance to win the amazing prize.
Great.
Verbinden die Welt.
Yeah, thanks, AP. It was a very interesting talk. And where can people follow you? Twitter or your websites or whatever you want?
So our website is amboss.space, and mostly I'm on Twitter as at Tony IOI, or on Telegram as Potdevin.
Cool. All right. We'll put it in the show notes. Also, the information to win the prize. And thanks again for being in the show.
Yes, thanks,
Tony.
AP.
Thank you guys very much. It was a blast.
Thanks for listening. And thanks to all members participating in the Satoshi Radio Rings of Fire. And of course, thanks to everyone helping to connect the world with us. And if you like our content, please support us in our mission. Visit our website, connecttheworld.live, which is still very new. There you can also donate and subscribe, like, and share our content on your favorite Podcasting 2.0 platform. We need you to complete our mission, connect the world. So keep those nodes running, sats flowing, and rings burning. And see you all next week with Aryan Jabari from Scar City on this same Lightning channel. Hasta luego, Antony.
Ciao.
Hasta la vista. Ciao.